तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणी। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा हरे कृष्णा
हरे कृष्णा।
Everyone is comfortable? Yes? So if I'm not able to see you, would you want to move to another position? Because of this tripod here. Yellow light. Okay. Knowledge is very exciting. To have knowledge, to know things, to learn about certain, to know about subject matters is definitely very attractive. And the reason is, when you have clarity based on what information you have, what is your understanding of that information, it gives one a sense of security. It gives one a sense of fulfillment. So this is that part of knowledge, that aspect of knowledge that is helpful. It is healthy. There is another feature of knowledge, another aspect, which one has to be wary about. What is that? That sometimes the least damage it can do is it can give you a sense of comfort, that it makes you feel comfortable in what state you are. That is the least damage of that side of knowledge, the least problem. But the other extreme of the problem is where you start feeling that you are better. You are so good that Everything just rests upon your understanding, your vision. You are unreplaceable. So from complacency to unhealthy pride. This is the spectrum. The two ends of the spectrum of having knowledge where you are not aware of the dangers that it can lead you to is either you become complacent, that is one extreme, and the other extreme is you have a very deep sense of false ego. Hence, when Arjun he approached the Supreme Lord for clarity, for vision, Krishna he pointed out this fact to Arjun. What did he tell him? What did Krishna tell Arjun? Klaibyam masmad gamah parth naitad tvayupaddite. Why did he tell Arjun that? Because although Arjun was confused, he still was convinced that he knew what was the right path. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Maharaj, he has a collection of stories too, which helps you realize certain principles. They're called as Upadesh. So, certain instructions are understood much more easily through illustrations, through stories. Okay, let me tell you one story. This is not Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Maharaj's story. This is something that society has come up with. So a smart, learned person like you maybe, you spend a lot of time on www, World Wide Web. So there's a lot of data information you have. So somebody like you has taken the day off, the weekend off, and decides to explore rural America. There's some rural areas where if you visit, it seems that time hasn't moved on. So one very old town was where this gentleman stopped for refueling, wanted to get some food, some store. So he just found one store in the entire little town or village, just one store. In India, in India we call them daily needs. What do you call the stores here?
Convenience stores.
Convenience store, yes, thank you. Just one convenience store. He goes in, practically empty. Rings the bell, someone answers the bell. He asks for some products, he finds it, takes it. Then he decides to explore that place. It's an empty town. The roads are empty. The houses seem to be unkempt. On one porch, he sees an elderly person sitting in a rocking chair. So he goes up to the person trying to strike a conversation. He says, "Sir, this town, it seems so different." The old man just looks at him, doesn't even feel the need to talk back, speak to him. So he wasn't feeling, he felt a little uncomfortable that how is it that people here don't need assets, don't need accessories, don't need conveniences as what we are used to. So he put forth his concern in very strange words. He said, "Sir, was any intelligent person ever born in this town?" And the old man said, "No. Only babies are born." Now, obviously, the young gentleman fell flat on his face, isn't he? So similarly, Arjun was in a situation like that. When Krishna told him, "No, you are speaking like an uneducated person." Asochan anvasocastvam prajnavadamscha bhashase. Krishna tells him that those who are in knowledge, what is their outlook of life? What is their understanding of life? Prajnavadamscha bhashase. That they know what is worthwhile to ponder over and what is unessential, what simply eats away your time and energy. They know very, very well what is essential in your life and what is unessential. There is a couple. The man is addicted to drinking, and the lady, she is very much concerned about her husband's health. Very, very much addicted. So she has tried various means since years to help him change his ways, to turn him. Nothing worked. Every day her husband would come to the breakfast table to eat his breakfast, and it was his habit that he would read the newspaper as he was having his breakfast. So that particular morning, when the newspaper came in, there was a big article on the front page of how drinking is really, really bad for health. She said, "All right, let me keep this newspaper face up so that he reads the article." So he comes for breakfast, he sits down at a table, the man, the husband. And as he is having his breakfast, he's actually reading the article through and through. At least that is what the wife thought, because he was it appeared as if he was reading the article through and through. And after finishing his breakfast, he takes a newspaper and he keeps it there and he says, "Enough is enough. From today onwards, I'm giving up." She's so happy. Something worked. He says, "I'm giving up reading newspapers." So you can be smart like that because you have intelligence, isn't it? But Krishna is saying that is not how the intelligence should be used, Arjuna. You should know the difference between that which is helpful and that which is unhealthy. And if it is difficult for you to draw a line between the two, then please get educated. Because education is simply not a matter of how much time you have spent reading the books. It's not about how much data or information you have. It's about knowing the difference and being able to draw that thin line within that which is good use of your time and that which is a waste of your time. Because ultimately that is the only currency that matters in this world, time. Everything else is either an expression of our time or simply is trying to fool us by taking the place of time. And not time as we know in this world, but our time. What I do with my time. So Krishna says that if you spend your time, your own personal time, asochan anvasochastvam. If you spend your time thinking about what are all these subject matters in which you could be progressive, you could be happy, you could go to a better version or become a better version of yourself. That is what you should be meditating on. You should not be meditating upon all the times that you have lost on opportunities. Don't lament about that. It's a waste. Neither, and because you consider yourself to be intelligent, obviously you're not going to be spending your time on things that you know are not healthy for you. But don't spend your time on lamenting on opportunities lost. Because when you do that, you lose another opportunity in the present to do something better with your life. Gatasuna gatasumshcha. Because whatever you think is the blessing that you've received right now, tomorrow is going to take it away. Now obviously you're going to say that no, blessings are eternal. No, for us blessings are material only. Because that is the only way we understand blessings. Correct? Otherwise, why would we tell somebody that please put your hand on my head? And if they say no, we give Ashirwad, no, please put. Because for us, that is what is blessings. Right? Now if you're into Reiki and things like that, you'll say no, energy is exchange and all of that. Okay. But today's blessings may not even be remembered tomorrow. Because tomorrow, if you get an opportunity again to get the blessings from the same person, similar blessings, you'll again go for it. Why is that? Because it's good to have blessings. Or even if you have extra blessings, it's nice. It's like if you have extra helping of the pudding, it's good. Now, if you have received the blessings, go and work. Once there was somebody there was a devotee who wanted Srila Prabhupada's blessings every single day in Vrindavan. So when Prabhupada would take darshan of the deity in the early morning, and then he would go and circumambulate the deity. Go outside of the temple to circumambulate. So he'd wait outside the temple hall. There was a couple of stairs leading outside the temple hall, so he'd stay right there at the foot of the stairs with a flower in his hand, because the scriptures say that every day you must make an offering to the Lord, to the spiritual master. So you'd be there with a flower. Hare Krishna Prabhupada. The next day, Hare Krishna Prabhupada. The third day, Prabhupada told him, why don't you do something practical with your time? So since then, he's been distributing books. Because Prabhupada told me, now there were two instructions. One is you should be making an offering to the spiritual master. The other is do something practical with your time. So gatasun agatasungscha. Today's service will be forgotten tomorrow. Today's devotional practices will be forgotten tomorrow. Tomorrow would bring you a new opportunity to do service, to do devotional practices. Those who are proud, they focus on the practices of yesteryears. Those who are complacent, they focus on the practices of yesteryears. Arey, hamare time mein. You know, when I joined Krishna consciousness, there were so many services. It's all right. It's not good or bad. Is that how you want to use your time? So, asochanam vasocastvam prajnavadangscha bhashase gatasona gatasangscha nano sochanti panditaha. So real intelligence is where you do not spend time in lamentation. And somebody who has learned the art of not lamenting also concomitantly, just as a consequence of that, also imbibes the quality of not trying to seek validation from others in terms of appreciation and glorification. Because they don't find reasons to lament. And if someone does not find any reason to lament in this material world, that person is basically just on the kagar, just, on the doorstep of being free from duality. Because the first thing that brings us into duality is lamentation, negativity. Because when there's negativity, then you can see the distinction between positive and negative. And that is duality. So knowledge is hence a very, very interesting subject matter. Because many a times, knowledge can actually become a big burden of ignorance. Bhaktivinoda Thakur has spoken about this and written about this. So he has spoken through his written words. He calls this particular poem of his Vidyara Vilase. Alright? So it's a weekday and it's late in the evening. So I feel like singing to keep away my lethargy. So everyone is okay. Would like to sing. If you want, you can. If this can be used, pull it up so you can have the lyrics. The screen can be used. Yes? In the meanwhile, simple words, just 3 or 4 words each. I would request you to also sing along with me. First I'll sing and then you can sing back as a response. Is that alright? Vidyara Vilase. Yeah. Yes. Katainu Kala Parama Sahase Ami Tomara Charana Na Bhajinu Kabhu knowledge gives you a kind of confidence. What happens when you have confidence? You feel confident. You feel that now you have some presence in this world, isn't it? You feel that you have had some achievement in this world, right? So now you become an achiever. Whenever a sense of achievement is perceived, you wallow in the thought. You like the idea. You kind of want to just rest in that ambience. That is called as vilas. Vilas means you want to just rest, enjoy, let it seep in. Whatever achievement you've had, let it seep in. So Vidya gives you achievement, because when you have knowledge, you become an achiever. So it says, Vidyara vilase katainu kala. And we have spent so much time doing that. You finish a particular course, then you feel nice about it, you talk about it, then maybe you take up another course, next level, you spend time doing it. You let all that knowledge seep in. You feel very good about it once it's done. Yes? You want to enjoy that feeling. So that is called as Vidyara Vilasa Katahinu Kala. Time has passed on in this way. Parama Sahase Ami. Sahas, you know what is the meaning of Sahas? Courage. Sahas? Confident. Huh? Did you say confident? Sahas, confident. Yes, that's how we understand it. Now I'm going to give you another meaning of Sahas and see if you can come up with some application or some experience that you've had of that meaning of Sahas. Audacity. Sometimes that Sahas is called as Himmat. In Hindi, तुम्हारी साहस कैसे होगी? तुम्हारी हिम्मत कैसे होगी? What is that Sahas? Is it courage? What is it? Audacity. And when this audacity has really reached its peak, it is called as audacity square. Parama Sahas. Alright? So Parama Sahase Ami. Just look at my audacity. I spent my time wallowing in this happiness that I received from getting knowledge, gaining knowledge. It made me feel that I'm better than my compatriots, my colleagues. And because I was spending so much time in just feeling good about what I've achieved in terms of being knowledgeable, Tomara charana na bhajinu, those moments I could not chant. I couldn't remember the lotus feet. Because everyone was congratulating me, I felt happy. Although I said words like, oh no, it is by the grace of Krishna, I wasn't remembering Krishna. I just liked those sweet words that were entering my ears, the sweet words of appreciation. Thank you, thank you. It is just by the grace of Krishna. Thank you very much. I couldn't have done anything without all of your devotees. Those are, just as here it's considered very good that when you meet someone, you say, hey, how are you today? You don't really expect an answer back. You don't even care about it. Similarly, when we receive appreciations like that, many a times it's like, all right, I like what you're saying, but I really don't care about who you are. Right now, you're just appreciating me. I like that sense of being appreciated. The idea that I, as an insignificant living entity who has such dependence on so many resources that Krishna has given for me to have any achievement in life, to think I am the doer And I should get the appreciation. Parama, this is called audacity. Parama sahase ami. Okay? So, Vidyara Vilase Kataino Kala Parama Sahase Ami. Tomaro Chorono Na Bhojino Kavi Akhono Sharana Tumi. Podite Podite Bharasa Barino Gyane Gati Habe Mani.
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 Se asha vifolo se jnana durbalo se jnana ajnana jani.
Se asha vifala se jnana durbala se jnana jnana jani.
Se asha vifolo se jnana durbalo se jnana ajnana jani.
Se asha vifala se jnana durbala se jnana jani.
Vidyara vilase katai kala parama sahase ami.
Vidyara vilase katarinu kala parama sahase ami.
Alright? Podite podite. Reading on and on and on, getting more data, more information, learning more theories, understanding its practical application since time immemorial, like since the time I was a little kid, that is what I have been doing. And slowly but surely, I started realizing that I'm really good. I'm really good at this. Until the time I felt I'm really good at this, it was alright. But when I lost sight of how many of the resources I'm dependent on, then all I started thinking was, I'm the only one who could do this. Or I'm great since I'm one of those few who can do this. Hare Krishna. And so here I am. I have a good job, good position. I can resolve issues. I seek challenges. Nice teamwork. And I can understand how all of this works. I'm really good at it. Slowly but surely, bharosa barilo gyane gati. Slowly but surely, I started thinking that my understanding of how knowledge can be used in Krishna's service is the best understanding. Because I get things done, I get results. Bharosa, badilo, this confidence within me that I can get it done. I must be blessed by Krishna. I don't know how, but somehow or the other, I just do things and it manifests. So that confidence increases. And if with that confidence, I'm able to become more and more eager to serve Krishna in ways that are most unknown to me, that means I want to explore how to serve Krishna more. But I only increase my activities in the realm that is known to me that is the only subject matter in which I feel confident. So unless and until, for example, unless and until I have the beads and my bead bag, I don't feel my chanting goes well. Because on fingers when I do it, it is very difficult. Annam process. Maybe even that process is not recommended. But hey, isn't that a way also to remember Krishna? No, maybe I'll use the clicker. Because I cannot put my trust into counting on my fingers. I don't know how much I've done. So the idea of how much I've done, it speaks of what I can achieve. What can be my achievement? So this bharosa, this dependency on what are the achievements that I can understand and how they are mandatory for me. Jnana gati, now that becomes my gati, that becomes my lakshya, that becomes my goal. And thus, knowingly or unknowingly, it is very much possible that the knowledge that I have accumulated through such a rigorous training and study, that is only way I can understand Krishna. That is only way I can understand the absolute truth. So Jnane Gati Have Mani. So now Krishna is all attractive, Krishna is all powerful, but within my understanding, I have restricted Krishna to this zone. Jnane Gati Have Mani. This is how the absolute truth manifests. And we don't even realize how slowly within a thought process we can become very, very sectarian. Not that we have to be broad-minded always, because we need some kavach, we need some protection to keep us on the path, not be distracted by so many other things that may seem possible, that may seem doable. The fine balance, that is what knowledge should help us do. Walk that fine path where I do not become too much dependent on how I perceive things. It stops us from really exploring our personality. What we are restricting ourselves is how our personality is contained within our existence as a human and an identity of that human. Hence, within that identity, if suddenly one becomes very much touched or very much connected to a particular emotion, let's say one starts really crying, seeing some darshan and kirtan, there's a possibility that we may think that this is actually ecstasy. But Krishna is actually about, I was touched by Krishna. There's a possibility we can start thinking like that. And it's not wrong to think like that. Is it the proper use of our time thinking like that? That we have to figure out. If it is, good for you. If it is not, and we don't even realize it, then it's a waste of our time. Because Krishna cannot be limited. Krishna is unlimited. And our ability to understand unlimited Krishna is also unlimited. That is the meaning of Chit, Chinmay. Chinmay means unlimited. Unlimitedly or unlimited ability to perceive. If it is limited, it is not Chit. It has to be Achit. Like the stone is limited. A tree is limited. So its consciousness is not as much exhibited. So it's not completely Chit. Chinmay. So Jnane Gati, here he is speaking about obviously knowledge as we relate to it. We very easily distinguish between, oh, this is material and this is spiritual. And the the words and the alphabets we use to distinguish both are material words only, material alphabets only. Isn't that amazing? You don't even have a different script to distinguish between the two. Right? Because that's how we are limited as humans. So, thinking that knowledge itself in this, with this understanding, with this vision or this perception, perceiving our existence through such understanding of the knowledge that we have received, it makes us convinced that our goal is very clear based on the knowledge that I perceive. Say Asha Viphala, say Jnana Durbal. The problem with knowledge, such knowledge is that as soon as my memory becomes weak, which it is going to be, tomorrow something else may seem interesting, and what was interesting today may not be as important. Is it correct or is it not? For example, how many of us are chanting Hare Krishna on beats? Please raise up your hands. Was there a moment in your life when you were introduced to chanting? Like as an adult, were you suddenly exposed to, hey, chanting? You're like, okay, how do I chant? Here are beats, you have to chant on this, on every beat. Did you all have a moment like that in your life? Most of you? Or did you were you chanting right from the time you were in the womb? Adult life? Generally it's adult life. The children most probably, they grew up in that. But adult life. So the first time when you chanted your first round, that experience can only come back to you when on an Ekadashi you try to chant your 17th round or your 26th round. Only then that experience can come to you. Because you're trying something new, you're exploring something more. Generally you chant 16 rounds. So on one Ekadashi you decide, okay, I'll chant more than 16 rounds. So when you do the 17th round, there is a possibility that on that 17th round you'll experience a similar feeling of newness, a similar feeling of Krishna's freshness, which does not happen when you do chant 16 rounds. Because now doing 16 rounds is your goal, everyday goal, based upon your perception of what is chanting the holy names of the Lord. But the 17th round is not your perception. You have not even created a perception of it. Till the time you decide to chant 20 rounds every day, then 17 rounds will also go the same way than the previous 16 rounds are going. So say Asha Viphala. What seemed to be a very wonderful experience, something that you looked forward to, your first round of chanting Hare Krishna. Today it's no longer there. The memory is lost. Jnana Durbala. And this is how Jnana is Durbal. The experiences and the realization that we have is Durbal. It doesn't stay with us. And hence, such knowledge which keeps us in that state of complacency that, oh, I finished my number of rounds today. It is called as Ajnana Jani. Say Jnana, Ajnana Jani. That knowledge I consider to be ignorance. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur is specifically talking about, in our terms, the way we understand what is Ajnana is material knowledge. He's specifically talking about it. Right? Isn't it? So if our own approach in life is towards materialism, even in spiritual activities, then this verse or these words of Bhaktivinoda Thakur, they have meaning for us too. Correct? Jada vidya jata mayara vaibhava tomara bhajane badha.
Jada vidya jata maya vaibhava tomara bhajane badha.
Moha janamiya o nitya samsare. Gadha. One becomes a donkey. What is the one peculiarity about a donkey that seems to be, if anyone relates us to that peculiarity of a donkey, it seems to be like an abuse. Someone is abusing us, calling us bad names. What is that one quality about a donkey? The peculiarity? Carrying lot of load. Sorry? Working hard, carrying lot of load. Foolish. Because what does a foolish person do?
And the carrot and he keeps falling.
A foolish person doesn't realize how much load is too much load. If the foolish person is convinced that this load is very important, then even if it is too much load, the foolish person is going to carry that load. That is what a donkey does, isn't it? It is somehow the other convinced that the load that it is carrying is actually sincere work, hard work. That is a peculiarity of a donkey that is quite well known in human society, isn't it? Obviously, the other side of it is that if someone has to be really hardworking, then really wants to put all one's effort in the work that one is doing, then a donkey is also a good example for that. That's the other side. But typically, the foolishness of a donkey is what is quite commonly known in human society, right? Jeeve ka koroe gadha. One becomes a donkey. When? So the flow is going on. So now we've made certain goals to be the goal of all our practices based upon our perception of the limited knowledge, the only knowledge that we want to accumulate. And this is it. This is my school of thought. These are the people that I will listen to. And I will only use my intelligence within that framework. So practically, innovation does not come in. So realization in that sense is not there. It is always borrowed realization. You always want validation from someone else. Oh, today I was having this realization, so is it all right? And if that someone else is qualified, certified to give you an all right certificate, then you're convinced that you're all right. So it's always borrowed realization. It is your realization, but it has to be validated by someone else that you are convinced is qualified enough to certify you. Make sense? Alright? So when we have that outlook in life, then Jada Vidya, that knowledge is no longer exciting, it becomes burdensome. It's like, oh, I've not ticked all the boxes, so maybe I'm not right. If I've ticked all the boxes, is it enough? Someone has to tell me, validate it for me. So Jada Vidya, Jada means it is no longer having any conscious feelings in it. That is Jada. Jada means no life, matter, dull matter. So there's the existence of conscious feelings there is very, very limited. It is subdued. So Jada Vidya Jota Maya, and this is where one starts identifying with the material aspect of Mother Nature. That, oh, this actually is spirituality. So when I saw the cloud there and a plane passing through, I was thinking of how Krishna or the demigods are flying in the air because I've read about it. Or I see a peacock and I remember, oh, peacocks dance when Krishna is dancing, or Krishna has a peacock feather in his head. So you see material element, you see how Mother Nature, Srishti, is manifesting itself, but you only superimpose all that heavy weight that you have unto Mother Nature and think that now I've made a connection. It's good. Definitely it's a connection. But the connection is only through this material eyes. Because in the peacock family, according to our understanding, we'll only glorify peacocks. The peahens don't have a place. Have you ever wondered about it? Because Krishna has a peacock feather. How many of us even consider the existence of peahens? Isn't it always peacocks who dance when Krishna is dancing? But do the peahens also dance? I don't know. I'm just asking. Should we ask questions like that? Should we ask questions like, do the monkeys also dance? Do the birds also sing along? Should we explore? So Jada Vidya is what? It just descends on you, creates such a pressure on you that you are not able to look this way or that way. So Maya Vaibhava, Tomare Bhojana Badha. And therefore he says that wanting to connect with you, sing your glories, it becomes a badha. What is badha? Obstacle. How is it an obstacle? How is that an obstacle? Imagine Vrindavan forest without parrots and peacocks. How would it appear to you? And cows. I'm just asking you. Supposing there are elephants in Vrindavan forest. How do we relate to it? Maybe horses? Or maybe even Vrindavan forest does not allow horses and elephants inside? Tumhare bhajan. So for us, Krishna is only somebody who interacts with so many people in Vrindavan. So if suddenly we are given an access to Krishna's pastimes. Let us suppose someone is given an access to Krishna's pastimes. And Krishna decides that today I'm going to go to someone's house and steal Shrikhand. We're like, hey, Shrikhand is there in Vrindavan? I thought only butter, milk, yogurt. Is it Shrikhand? Is there mango kulfi? Because mango, milk, and you just need to freeze it a little bit. Would that be possible? Tomara bhajane badha. So what is bhajan? Bhajan is when any aspirations that you have in material life, like eating kulfi, would that have a place in Krishna's Vrindavan? Is something that you can explore. Whether it is there or not, whether you should spend time, I'm not saying that you should spend time into exploring such things. What I'm saying is that sufficient amount of our time goes into, or our energies goes in engaging in such desires in this material world. Yes? So, Tomara bhajane badha. Moha janomiya anit. Hence, this place where there are, let's say, like-minded people, I like this place a lot. Because here, my ideas, my understanding, my way of practicing my principles in life seems comfortable. Perfectly all right. I'm not saying that this is wrong. Please don't. What I'm saying is, are we getting too comfortable with that? And if you're getting too comfortable with it because our identification with how we interact with the material world that is what formats our outlook, then maybe becoming too comfortable is not very helpful. Maybe you have to start, it's like suddenly one single day you are like, oh, today I really need to chant properly. You just break out of that cycle where you have become too comfortable. You're like, today I must do this. Today, this Ekadashi, I have to try something that really seems very, very substantial to me. Where does that come from? Somewhere along the line we became too comfortable with whatever else we're practicing. Now shouldn't we every day have that kind of outlook? Today, in lectures it's very easy to say, every day when you sit to chant, you should be thinking, oh, today how Krishna is going to reveal himself in the holy name. In a lecture we say that. And that is how we can feel very, very excited in our spiritual practices. The idea is correct. The principle is correct. It has to manifest in every other aspect of our life where we use our knowledge to work out different aspects of material life. We have managed to dovetail that with our chanting. We need to dovetail all these other activities similarly, under the same principle. Today, what exciting would Krishna reveal when I'm cooking for Krishna, or when I'm honoring prasad for Krishna, when I'm doing book distribution for Krishna, or I'm just simply interacting with my child. Today, what exciting thing would Krishna reveal through this interaction? That is being alive. And the spaces, moha janamiya, that is where attachments come. Just the other day I was mentioning that people become so much attached to their beads, chanting beads. Is it correct or is it wrong? I wish they had similar attachment also to their bead bags. Because the number of times we recycle our bead bags, there's so much strain that we are putting on Mother Earth. Is it really necessary? But a bead bag should look good, is the idea. It should look clean. Even if it is threadbare, it should look clean, because that is what you do with your beads. Even if your beads become threadbare, even if they become very, very, what would I say? Very much used. Wouldn't you stick to your chanting beads? Now that bead bag is supporting your chanting bead. Isn't it also an energy of Krishna? Right? Is it? We don't even think twice about changing our counting beads, not the counter. Anyone here who's never done that? The same counter. Chanting beads, most probably it's been there with us for a few years. You know that Sakshi Mala, on which you count the number of rounds? Has it lasted a similar number of years? Or has it changed? The bead bag, has it changed or has it lasted a similar number of years? Krishna is existing in so many ways in our day-to-day life. Yes? Let us not let a certain understanding of knowledge make us behave like donkeys, is what Bhaktivinoda Thakur is saying. Carry all that load without even thinking, how is my interaction with the other aspects of Krishna? Is that all right? If it is possible, try to stick to one bead bag. I mean, the people in Vrindavan are not going to like it, the shopkeepers. But it saves a lot of Mother Earth's resources. A lot. Now, if you want to be eco-friendly, see if you can do that. Se gadha hoye sansare ra boja, bahinu anek kala.
Samsare ra boja,
भालो. So, if you pursue your life and let years go pass on like that, very soon the next generation grows up, and as the next generation grows up, we will find ourselves to be a little irrelevant in society. It's going to happen. It has happened with our earlier generation. Do we think they are relevant anymore? Let's be honest. They've stopped being relevant quite some decades back. And that is what is going to happen with the present generation who are young. And this is what Bhaktivinoda Thakur is saying. And look at that generation. How do they spend their time? They feel so lonely. They need so much of attention. Can we really identify with their feelings? This is how life is. You can have so many classes and have so many sanskara classes, value education lessons that we must take care of our elders. We must every day say Hari Bol to them, touch their feet. All of that simply takes 10 minutes of your day. At the most in the evening, you may be giving them 2 hours of your day. But they have to spend the entire day by themselves. And that is where we are also going to land up. Now somebody who has figured out, I do new things every day, that generation, they say, oh, you have come, the older generation. Okay, I'm busy in my garden, today I planted this, next week I'm going to plant that. Or, I'm into painting, I paint this, or I'm into writing, now I've written this, and yeah, if it gets published, all right, otherwise I'll find something else to write about. They have engagement. And if you look at how they are engaged, the older generation, in their old age, they never stick to whatever qualifications they have in terms of knowledge throughout their young life. If they do stick to it, then they are still in the rat race. They do not lead a retired life. But if they are leading a retired life, then they are exploring newer and newer things. What are we going to do? What could be our exploration? Are we going to go to Vrindavan, Mayapur, always take a flight to Delhi, from Delhi take a taxi to Vrindavan? Is that what we are going to always follow? Or maybe once a while we decide, all right, let me walk to Vrindavan from Delhi. It will take time. We no longer have the energy to do it, but at least you're doing something new. Otherwise, it's going to be the same routine. When you were very, very busy in your life, that is how you went to Vrindavan. And now you have ample time in your life, you're still going to Vrindavan like that. And now you don't have the same energy because you're in old age. So how long are you going to sit down in Vrindavan and just chant? It's not nothing new for you anymore. It's the same old chanting you're going to do. So she's saying, let us not become a donkey like that. Let us not carry unnecessary burden of so-called knowledge and realizations. Till the time we feel we need some security in terms of our practices, yes, adopt a routine, adopt something. Once that routine has become a regular routine, there's nothing new about it. Maybe sometimes it even seems burdensome. Time to practice, try out something new. Don't give up that routine, but try a new approach. That will stop us from becoming foolish like a donkey. A donkey never tries a new approach. Yes? So, Sangsare boja bahinu aneka kala. Let us not just flow along the stream of so-called spiritual life that we are in, so-called principles of life that we are in, which is just very much limited by our understanding. Because in old age, Shakti Bhava, none of this is going to really make you happy, very happy. There will be too much time on your hands, the body is already old. You haven't found out a way to keep your consciousness looking for excitement in Krishna consciousness. This is what Vrindavan basically every day when Krishna is wondering that tomorrow what are my friends going to do when I'm in the forest. For us, we simply think that every day the friends go into the forest and they take some forest flowers, they put it all over Krishna and Krishna dances, plays his flute, everyone eats, then the cows come back. This is our understanding of Vrindavan. But if Krishna is Navayamanam, Nava-Navayamanam, every day there is newness, every moment there is newness. And even Krishna is eager to know, okay, I'm going to wake up tomorrow. What is Subal going to do? What is Subal's plan? And Subal is wondering, how is Krishna going to trick me tomorrow? I know most of the ways he tricks me, but I am sure that tomorrow he is going to trick me in another way. There's excitement. In fact, the cows, they're like, today he's going to play the same, what is it called as? Music? What does Krishna play? Not the melody. It's not the melody. The rag. He knows that Krishna is going to play the same rag. But he is going to put something new in it. Because the understanding of rag is that it has so many ways it can be presented. What is the inflection of your voice within the parameters of that rag? Or how you play along with that rag, how you do intonations is what makes it very interesting. Is that true? How many combinations, how many different ways can a same rag be sung? What do you think? Different singers, they present, and that is what excites the people who are listening to that. Oh, this is such a unique way of presenting this rag. It's the same rag. But it's a singer's ability to bring some newness in it. Unexpected. So that is how our conscious, that is what is understanding of being conscious. Newness does not mean trying a new way. Newness means we being excited with what can be presented tomorrow while we are chanting. When we are listening to classes, when we are cooking, when I'm working, and suddenly a pop-up comes, today is Ekadashi. I'm like, how do I react to that? Do I look at it? Oh, Ekadashi, I did not put it on the group. Let me put it on the group immediately. Is that how I react to it? That shows that you have a group and most probably you are the admin of that group. That is the only thing that it reveals. What do you think? What could be different ways you could react to this pop-up of Ekadashi? Different way to react to it. How many of us would just push back our chair like, hey, Ekadashi, and dance? Unimaginable, isn't it? But in lectures we are going to say, as soon as we hear about Krishna, we want to dance. What is Ekadashi then? Do we ever think about it? No. Do you think that we can ever even imagine that that could be an idea to explore? Maybe that would one day happen to us? So that is called as being limited by Jnana. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur, therefore, when he relates, okay, we'll stop this bhajan, there are two more stanzas to it, but we'll stop here with the bhajan. From Bhaktivinoda Thakur's his realization about what the various asuras represent in Vrindavan Leela. He says Dhenukasur is representative of this mentality. He has so many fruits laden there. how much would Krishna, Balaram and the boys take? Even, an entire forest, it is Talavan, entire forest. Even if all the neighboring villages would come and take away as many fruits, still there would be so much left behind. But what is the mentality? This is how the forest should exist, and I'm just following all the norms. Kansa is the king, I'm the caretaker, and especially Krishna and Balaram get lost. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, Dhenukasur represents this idea of carrying unnecessary burden. And he explains what that burden is. That burden is not really understanding what is knowledge. Can you pull up Srila Prabhupada's purport to Asochanam Vachochas to, I think, 2.7, 2.8 Bhagavad Gita? I'm trying to brainwash you here, therefore I'm going to choose certain lines from the book. 2.7 or 8, I think. Asochanam Vachochas 2. This is 2.38. I think you went to 2.3. Okay, 2.8. Yes, let's go. Yes. First part.
11.
Okay, it's 2.11. Asochanam Vachochas 2. Sorry, my numbers are wrong. Yes, that 2.11. Okay. Yes, stay right there. As explained in later chapters, it will be clear that knowledge means to know matter and spirit, control of both. Yes, Arjuna. Let's read it together, everyone. Okay? Let's read. Arjuna argued that religious principles should be given more importance than politics or. Is that good? His argument seems to be very logical. Okay, read further what Prabhupada says. But he did not know the knowledge that knowledge of matter, soul, and the supreme is even more important than religious. What do you think about it? What does that really mean now?
He was limited to one.
And because he was lacking in that knowledge, he should not have posed himself as a very learned man. This is his Prabhupada's commentary. Just a statement. Is it an interesting statement? Arjuna argued about something, but he should not have done that because what is more important than religious formalities? Knowledge of matter, soul. What does that mean? For me, in this presentation, I can equate it with the idea of pop-up Ekadashi, and I'm like, hey! I'm not really excited about Ekadashi. That's not what I meant. Just the idea that Ekadashi popped up, something related to Krishna popped up, it simply, puts me off balance. I'm no longer aware of who I am, what I am. I don't need very exciting kirtan always to put me there. Even Ekadashi should be able to do that. Just a pop-up. It's not that, Ekadashi tomorrow I have to fast. But I'm not even saying that. Not even that idea. The idea is Ekadashi. Because of the 15 days of any paksha, does any other tithi matter to us? I mean, even Purnima and Amavasya doesn't have any impact on us. It should have. But it doesn't make. Ekadashi does make an impact. Why? Because it is a day of Lord Hari. So just an excitement. Knowledge of matter, soul, and the supreme is even more important than religious formalities. The knowledge, that knowledge. What is that knowledge? Knowledge is that which gives you excitement, ananda. Satchidanand. So what is Chit? If Chit does not have connection to Ananda, what is the importance of Chit? Yes? And how should chit be? How should knowledge be? It should always be there, always existing. That is Sat. So if it does not give us Ananda, then is it knowledge? That is what Prabhupada is saying. He did not know that knowledge of matter, soul and supreme is even more important. And hence he should not be presenting himself as a learned man. Because all that one is doing is carrying the burden of ignorance and not actually having knowledge. Okay? So we'll stop here. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Any questions?
So I was wondering, this is verse, I think 3rd canto, 2nd chapter, 9th verse, Srimad Bhagavatam.
You want to pull it up?
Sure.
Yeah, he'll pull it up. You,
I think it is like, it goes like Puru Prauda, something like that. Igita Gyaha Puru Prauda.
Third canto, 2nd chapter.
9th verse. The context is basically Vidura and Uddhava conversing, remembering about Krishna. I was wondering, Prabhupada was writing this interestingly, but like Yadavas saw Krishna as Paramatma, but they were not able to see him anything more than that. Whereas Vrajavasi saw him as only object of love, therefore they were relatively higher in platform than Yadavas, like that he told. I used to think, why did he say like that? Is that an example case of like this, like, Tumara Bhajane Bhata, like the knowledge has limited them to think only so much like Paramatma, but they are not able to transcend and have a, considering like object of love, they are not able to show. Is that the reason why they have the difference?
if you look at it like that, will it help you?
It satisfies a little bit, truly.
And then with that satisfaction, what are you going to do?
Maybe I think I'm going to, okay, I learned something new, and then the excitement comes, okay, now keep moving ahead.
Great. Yeah. Is that okay?
That's okay. But I have something converse there.
Okay.
It's a sampradaya-based knowledge. So conversely, like usually when a baby is born to a mother, the mother will want the kid to be growing and become a successful person later in the life, astronaut, pilot, whatever. That is what will give her true joy.
Are you sure? Or is that your understanding of what will give true joy to a mother?
I think it is more my understanding.
Okay. That's all right. If it's your understanding, it's okay.
I'm connecting that to this Sampradaya knowledge. We always, with all humility, I'm asking this, like the Vrajavasis see Krishna, the Leela of Krishna is actually more than just the Vraja Leela. Like he has 100 years, I think, as Dwaraka. In Dwaraka, he did all the Leela for 100 years. Why is that we are putting the emotion that Vrajavasis had in the pedestal and thinking that the other people's bhakti is not that relevant or important? In like, why do we have that kind of comparison? Is it by doing that, aren't we limiting Krishna's Leela only to the Vraja time?
Okay.
How do you understand that?
So are you suggesting that maybe through that sentence or those couple of sentences, the idea that comes to us is that there is comparison like that?
Yeah, it gives.
Okay, let us take it in context. Who's speaking to who?
Uddhava is saying to Vidura.
And what is Uddhava's mood at that point of time?
He's actually separated from Krishna, just Krishna is left, if I remember correctly.
Right. And how does Uddhava consider himself vis-a-vis the Brajavasis?
I don't.
So if you read, you come to understand how does Uddhava understand it.
Okay, that's from his point of view.
And Prabhupada is commenting on Uddhav's conversation. So wouldn't Prabhupada present Uddhav's way of...
Got it.
So if you just take it standalone, without looking at its context, then it could appear to be like that.
Sure.
Prabhupada is trying to be true to what he thinks or what he is understanding about the conversation between Uddhava and
Vidura.
Vidura.
Thank you.
Alright? So if you read about how in Srimad Bhagavatam Uddhava presents his perception of Vrindavan and his perception vis-a-vis who he is as a Yadava prince, he holds Vrindavan in high esteem. Is that all right?
Yeah.
And I'm very much sure that Uddhava, he would like to be connected to Vrindavan. There are some references, Pauranic references, where he is eager to be a blade of grass in Vrindavan.
Okay.
There is a reference to that.
Okay.
However, this is my understanding, I'm very sure that he wouldn't want to give up his position as Uddhava, because that is his very intimate connection with Krishna there too.
Sure.
So even if the Yadavas have an understanding of Braj to be superlative Vrindavan, they will worship Braj. However, when they think that if Krishna comes to Mathura or if Krishna comes to Dwarka, would he want to see Brajavasis there, we as Brajavasis, or would he want us to be as Yadavas? And most probably Krishna wants them to be as Yadavas,
I think so too. Yeah.
so that he can interact with the Yadavas in a particular way, interact with the Brajavasis in a different way. Krishna is multifaceted,
Sure.
and hence the satisfaction that the Yadavas have interacting with Krishna is as fulfilling as the satisfaction that the Brajavasis have interacting with Krishna. It is complete and perfect. Om Purnamada Purnamida.
Okay.
Is that all right? Okay. Any other comments, questions?
Yeah, can you explain a little bit about Ekadashi, because I don't really know much about that.
Oh, so Ekadash means 11. Dash means 10. So Ekadash is 1 plus 10, so 11. So every day of the different phases of the moon are called, they have different names. So let us say the first day of the first phase of the moon, after either the full moon day or the new moon day, is called as Prathama. So the 11th day of the moon is called as Ekadashi. According to the scriptural references, Ekadashi is the day of Lord Hari. So every day is dedicated to a particular reverential personality who are connected to Lord Hari. But Ekadashi is specifically only Lord Hari. Hence those who are devoted to Lord Hari, for them Ekadashi is very, very important that day, where they want to through that day be very closely connected with Krishna. So they follow certain rituals, certain activities which help them be closely connected to Krishna, like chanting, reducing their material bodily needs as much as possible so that they can spend more time remembering Krishna or working for Krishna or serving Krishna. Is that all right? That is Ekadashi. Any other? There's a book that we have, a booklet on Ekadashi. If you want, you can get a hold of it and read through it. So we'll stop. Yes? Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai.